Mr. President, I rise today to discuss several provisions and amendments to the FAA reauthorization currently before the Senate, and specifically benefits to my home state of Louisiana. There are more than 253 air traffic control towers throughout the country, operating through a successful public-private partnership called the Federal Contract Tower Program. This program is especially critical to rural areas, as I have many of, and so does the President, to ensure America's airspace and the traveling public remains safe. However, there are currently 30 towers awaiting on the FAA to finalize an internal agency formula called the Benefit Cost Analysis, referred to as the BCA, which would allow eligible towers to enter the Federal Contract Tower Program. One of these airports waiting is the Hammond Northshore Regional Airport in Hammond, Louisiana. The Federal Contract Tower Program has been in place for more than 30 years, a prime example of an effective public-private partnership. Contract towers handle approximately 28% of the nation's air traffic control tower operations, but despite handling 28%, account for only 14% of the FAA's total tower operations budget. Repeated studies by the U.S. Transportation Department Inspector General have shown that the Contract Tower Program increases aviation safety while reducing costs to taxpayers and the federal government. It's important to know that approximately 80% of the contract controller workforce are veterans. Congress has demonstrated numerous times in bipartisan fashion the merit and need for the Federal Contract Tower Program. Now, given the success of the program and the increasing likelihood of further FAA delays, I am pleased the Commerce Committee included language in the FAA reauthorization bill to strengthen and improve the Federal Contract Tower Program. Senators Cornyn, Vitter, Portman, Wicker have been leaders on the issue, and their work is greatly appreciated. Currently, America's trade and economy are being hampered because many cargo planes from other countries are prohibited from flying into U.S. airports because they have not been upgraded to newer types of technology. Some aircraft are what are called Stage 2. These aircraft were phased out following the passage of the Airport Noise and Capacity Act of 1990, which mandated the phase-out for Stage 2 aircraft over 75,000 pounds. I've introduced an amendment that would permit flights to a small number of airports under limited circumstances for revenue and non-revenue flights to Stage 2 over 75,000 pounds. One of these airports that meets the criteria is the Acadiana Regional Airport in New Iberia, Louisiana. This airport is located in a heavy industrial complex and surrounded by agricultural land. Acadiana Regional Airport has an advantage over other types of airports because it is surrounded by land use compatible with airport operations. Additionally, it is situated near the Port of Iberia, which is home to more than 100 companies employing close to 5,000 people in industries such as construction, energy, equipment rental, and trucking. This would bolster Louisiana's economy, help working families, and improve America's ability to trade with the world. Mr. President, Louisiana's economy relies on a thriving maritime industry. In 2014, a study from the Transportation Institute showed that 54,850 maritime-related jobs contribute more than $11 billion annually to the Louisiana economy. One in every 83 Louisiana jobs is connected to the domestic maritime industry, nearly twice that of any other state. With ports along the Mississippi and Red Rivers, our state sees vessels of varying size and type. While loading cargo, these ships must drain ballast water that they have taken on to maintain the balance of the ship. This can have varying degrees of environmental effects, with costly and confusing state and federal regulations making compliance difficult. Senator Rubio is sponsoring the Vessel Incident Discharge Act, which creates a uniform, enforceable, and scientifically based national standard on ballast water discharges. This is needed in order to simplify the highly complicated and overly burdensome patchwork of state and federal regulations in place today. Everyone I talked to in the Louisiana maritime industry, but also in the inland marine, which would take the agricultural products from states such as the President, the presiding officer represents, necessary for these regulations to be harmonized, and they emphasize the importance of passing this bill. I'm a co-sponsor of this bill, and I'm glad to see that Senator Rubio has filed it as an amendment to the bill we are considering on the floor today. Mr. President, the FAA reauthorization contains many measures that will protect Americans, improve our economy, and protect our environment. I urge all my fellow senators to support the bill and these amendments. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield back.